Hi everyone, welcome back to Off the Cuff with me, your host, Kaylin. So I know in the last video I told you that we are going to be discussing a pelvic floor condition called vaginismus. It is a form of sexual dysfunction, but I really didn't get to talk about me. And although I'll be sharing very intimate details with you, I guess it would be kind of nice to know just a little bit about me aside from the condition. So, my name is Kaylin Truxell. I was born, raised, and still reside in Northeast Ohio. I am married to my husband, Cody. We got married on April 13th, 2019. We have been together since we were 15 years old, so we have been together for nearly 10 years, and he's been with me through this whole journey, and I couldn't ask for a better partner to be by my side. Together, him and I share 3 cats, a dog, and a hedgehog. So our cats are Sparkle, Boomer, and Rummy. Our dog is Dudley, and our hedgehog's name is Milo. So I am 25 years old. My educational background, I have 2 associate degrees. I have the Associate of Science and the Associate of Arts from Lorain County Community College. I graduated with honors, and then I transferred to Baldwin Wallace University, where I obtained my Bachelor of Arts degree in Communications, also with honors. I am a Gemini. I enjoy adventures, Cedar Point, roller coasters, zip lining, traveling. So some of my future projects is I am working on a memoir that discusses this condition and my journey, and I'll kind of be tiptoeing, kind of what I share here and then what I have in the book, just so it gives some exclusive content to those who decide to support me by purchasing the book. It is not published yet. I am still writing it, but I am working very diligently on that for you. So I'm just looking at my notes. So where my journey started with this whole vaginismus thing. In middle school, I tried to put in my first tampon with no success. It felt like I was hitting a wall, and it just didn't go in. And I feel like a lot of people who deal with this condition, we pretty much always rationalize why something isn't working down there. And at the time I was like, well, I was a virgin. My hymen's probably still intact, and that's probably what's stopping the tampon from going in. Never really addressed the issue, never really thought about it. And then I met Cody when I was 15, and we started dating our freshman year of high school. And I had a rule that I would not have sex with him until we were together for at least a year, because I guess I wanted to get to know him and make sure that the feelings were mutual, and that was the next step that we wanted to take. And so we were together, and sometime around the time that I was 18, we decided to have sex for the first time, or try to. And the same thing happened with the tampon with him, but it was actually more severe with him. With him, I experienced burning, tightness. Anytime that he would try to penetrate me, I would feel the burning, the fire, like I was being stabbed with a hot knife, tightness. It just did not feel like an average first time. I always knew that my friends told me that it was going to be painful the first time, and I think that's where my vaginismus stems from, is that I'm not someone who tolerates pain very well, and I ended up just developing this physiological response to protect me for when that time finally came on an unconscious or subconscious level, rather. And so my body just ended up creating this mechanism, and all of a sudden it was the perfect breeding ground for a pelvic floor dysfunction to take hold, and that's exactly what happened to me. So I tried to have sex many times, and it wasn't successful, and I would share it with my friends and my family, and nobody really understood where I was coming from, and sometimes they weren't very compassionate, and they really didn't know what I was talking about. And that kind of stems from the first video where I talked about the lack of knowledge, the lack of mainstream, the lack of media about this, is that it causes ignorance everywhere. And we're going to try to eliminate some of that with this video and this channel. So I attempted to have PIV. PIV means penis and vagina sex. It's the same thing as intercourse. I use it interchangeably, so that's what that means when I use that terminology. So finally, when you can't have sex, you decide to go see an OBGYN, right? They would probably have an answer for you. I was never able to do an exam. They were never even able to get a finger inside me. Excuse me. And so I was 22 and I went in for, I guess, my first pap smear, because American standards for getting a pelvic exam or pap smear is, their standard is either if you're sexually active or if you turn 21, whichever one comes first. They want to make sure to check you for cervical cancer. I was 22 by the time I got enough courage to make the appointment, even though I knew it was not going to be successful. She was not going to be able to perform the exam. And I explained to her when I got there that I've never had sex before. It's extremely painful. But every OBGYN seems to think that they have the magic hand and can somehow do it. And that was not the case. She tried to put in a finger, she tried to put in a speculum. It was unsuccessful. So the OBGYN informed me that I would have to go under anesthesia for my first pap smear. So in May of 2017, I went under anesthesia and did my first pap smear. Everything came back good, so that was one thing, but they didn't investigate why I couldn't have a pelvic exam. I mean, that's kind of strange. Most people get it done within 2 to 5 minutes, and you have to put me under to get it done. And that's the issue a lot of times with the medical field, is they don't investigate, and then you are stuck not getting the help that you need. So I had a name to the condition because before I went for my exam and after Cody and I had attempted to have sex, I started Googling my symptoms, and that's when I came across vaginismus, and it talked about the burning and the tightness and the wall and being unable to have any type of penetration without extreme pain. So now I had a name, and I had tried to tell doctors that I thought I had vaginismus. And doctors are very dismissive, or they try to pin the condition of what you're going through on something else, and a lot of times we're just not heard. And we already feel misunderstood when we go to family and friends and loved ones, when we try to confide in them, and then we feel like we have to question our own reality when we finally do go see a doctor and they don't have any answers for us, or they make it feel like it's not real and it's all psychological. But it is real. It's a real condition with real complications, real heartbreak, real emotions, and it is 100% real. So once I had the failed exam and ended up having to go under anesthesia where they were able to do everything, and I had a name, I ended up joining a support group. And it was a virtual support group. It was actually over Facebook. I joined the support group, and that's where I learned about different forms of treatment for this kind of pelvic floor disorder. They talked about dilators and how to dilate vaginally to get your muscles acclimated to, different sizes and things. And I learned about pelvic floor physical therapy, and I was able to find out how I was going to get help, and that's really where I started. So after gaining this new knowledge of how to treat this condition, I bought my first dilator kit, and I started dilating at home. And the fun thing about dilators is they all come in different materials. Some are silicone, some are plastic, some are glass. Some of them contain a different amount. So the kit that I bought was silicone, and it contained 5 dilators. There are other ones that contain maybe 8, and the sizes are different, and they come in all different materials, shapes, sizes. So there is some options there to think about. So in my next video, because I'm going to try to keep the videos at about 10 minutes, the next video I'm going to start with dilation, the kit I bought, what my routine was, and depending on how long that takes me, I will then go on about my journey about physical therapy and how that really changed the game for me. So that's what I'm going to do. So the next video will be about dilation. If you have any questions or things that you want me to address in the next video, you can email me at offthecuff7@gmail.com, and that is spelled OFFTHEKUFF7@gmail.com. You can even share your story. I will keep it completely private unless you want me to share something. I'm really here for you guys. I want you guys to be able to get as much information out from me as possible. I've been through it all at this point in my journey. I wouldn't say I'm cured, but I can certainly do everything that I need to do. I can have intercourse, I can get pap smears done, but I have recently made the decision to go back to physical therapy because I haven't reached the level of comfort when doing activities such as intercourse or pap smears that I want to reach. It never hurts to get more treatment, as my husband always says. I have a great relationship with my physical therapist, so I will be going back very soon, but I'm not discouraged at all. I know I'm not starting from square one. I'm still able to do all the things I wanted to do when I first started out in this journey. I wanted to be able to get a pap smear done, and I wanted to be able to have intercourse, and I'm able to do both those things. So it's really just getting to where I personally want to be. If anybody's in the same phase as I am, there's no shame in going back. It doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that you just need a little bit more TLC, and that's okay too. So I hope that you guys want to subscribe, and I will see you on my next video talking about dilation. I am looking forward to seeing you there. All right, guys, until next time.